Aha! There's the Jim Chim Chim. The Jim Chim Chamber. Just woken up, bless him. He's now going back to sleep again, because that's what Jim Chim Chim does. Anyway, hello. So I'd like to take a look at this today. One of my most favourite actors of all time, Dirk Bogarde, who was born in West Hampstead. I certainly raised there anyway. And this is a really good autobiography. No, it's not an autobiography, sorry, it's a biography by John Coldstream. And I've got to be careful not to turn the phone off. So who was Dirk Bogarde? Well, he was a British actor who played many important roles. I was a massive fan, and well, he lived very close to where I was, where I lived in Watford. He was very close by. I've got to. Sorry, I'm struggling with. I'm struggling cognitively now. I don't even know what these notes are that I've made. I made extensive notes during my time. And well, let's take these to one side. Let's take and then go into the book. Let's just head for the book. What can I do? I can flip pages, of course. So well, let's look at the photographs. So the paternal grandfather was Amy van den Bogarde. You know, he was obviously from Belgium or somewhere like that. Quite an adventurer, and obviously that must have provoked Dirk's young brain as the child to think above, normality, in the sense of, like, most kids just think, well, I'll just be a schoolboy and knock conkers out of trees. But in his case, obviously different. And there's his father Ulrich there. Well, there's who's that? That's Mum, I think, or something. In Kilburn. Well, you see, it's funny because I actually used to know a girl in Kilburn, and well, she wasn't that pretty, but I certainly had a good time. Derek's maternal grandfather, Forrest Niven. So that's so hang on, let's point at it. So there are quite a lot of photographs here. And Derek's mother, Margaret, praised as an actress, sort of thing, on the Onlooker. It must have been some sort of like Forces Gazette type thing of the day. You know, what's it called? The Stage, I think they called it. When my first wife was working in cinema, she used to get a thing called The Stage. And so there's Dirk as a little bairn baby, with mum and dad, I've no doubt. So they were obviously quite affluent, weren't they? And that's Dirk there, the actor, with his sister. His sister's very amusing, actually. I've watched her in a few documentaries. You know, it was wonderful. These are the cottages that they used to go to. And obviously, I don't think Dirk was. I think he was like me. I think he was particularly pathetic at school. Well, there he is, ringed. I guess that's him. and I guess that's one of his mates. Well, you know, why they're not together, I don't know. Because I mean, when I was with mates, that I was always next to them in school photos, and that's the fact. Because there were in public schools, there weren't that many mates at all. He was obviously quite a talented sketch artist, you know. These are what he's done. Obviously, that's Laurel and Hardy, you know, Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. I don't know who all these other people are. Well, I don't know. What else have we got here? Any more photographs? This is going to be a long one, this, I can tell you, because it's like, what the heck, you know what I mean? So there he is. There he's on theatre now. He's in Journey's End. In Amersham, probably in the Amersham Theatre. I knew that Dirk Bogarde worked in Amersham, which was not that far from where I used to live in Watford, Northwood, sort of thing. So this is Anthony Forward, who was an actor who was married. You see, there you go. You can see there for yourself. It talks about Amersham and all the rubber here. But Anthony Forward was married to this lovely actress. And, well, God only knows why, because he was apparently a homosexual. And he married this actress, Glynis Johns, I think her name was. And anyway, he had a child. He had a son, you know, with Glynis, you know. So maybe he was bisexual, whatever, transgender, whatever. It's not my business, you know, is all I can say. But ultimately, they got their thing together. But they created this incredible partnership. Well, Anthony Forward created this incredible partnership with Dirk Bogarde, who was a war sort of veteran. You know, he'd been apparently there you go. Look, that I think that's Glynis there that you see up the top there, on holiday, as it were. I think so. If I'm making this up, then sorry, I'm so sorry. I don't know. My own brain is dissolving now. So. But eventually, Dirk Bogarde and Tony Forward made this partnership together. Well, Tony became his manager. I think that's the lovely Glynis Johns. I mean, I recognise her straight away. She's absolutely beautiful. You see, you can't forget faces. You know what I mean? That attract you. So that's Anthony Forward in his army officer's uniform. Obviously, he must have been highly attractive to Glynis and vice versa, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that's the son that Tony Forward had with his wife. Sadly gone, sadly long dead, strikingly sad. But so Tony Forward was an actor himself, but he eventually became... sorry, I'm meandering, but he eventually became Dirk Bogarde's manager, and that was how they obviously they had a homosexual relationship. I mean, let's not mince words, you know. And sorry, I'm mixing mince, but I'm making no puns intendedly. Can I find more photos? There we go. Look. He and a harder who. To make not this an hour's who, but well, there's more there. I don't know what that's all about. That'll be military career things, you know, military service type stuff. And well, Rock Hudson. I mean, he was a very famous American actor, a wonderful chap. Sadly died of AIDS. I remember back in the 80s. It was terrible business. Nowadays he'd be fine, but there's Dirk in his acting career. I mean, he had so many wonderful films, you know, various different Basil Dearden, all these directors' names. My first wife worked in movies in Pinewood Studios, and so she was very familiar with everything as far as it was going. Look, Bendrose, I mean, the names are almost comical, but, you know, bending down, don't touch the soap sort of thing. I'm sorry, that's just my Builder-Bob humour. But when Dirk was an actor of great repute, he could own properties like Bill House. That's Jimmy, by the way, Squeakers. Jims's. And Bill House was this wonderful, wonderful place that well, I knew it well. I actually did some work on Bill House, Drummer's Yard, as well. When another place, a property that he had, they were all around the Buckinghamshire districts, you know, and this place was Drummer's Yard, as I say, where he met Capucine. You see, Capucine was this beautiful actress. He was, you know, he had his fingers in many many pies, you know, and there he is there in one of his houses with his dog, sort of thing. Wonderful. I mean, he was very rich, he was very wealthy, and then eventually he went to France. I mean, I don't know why he bought that. It looks awful, doesn't it? Help, you know what I mean? What that? I think that was in Italy. But anyway, whatever. He was nuts. He had too much money. But yeah, eventually Dirk Bogarde became a sort of washed up kind of like the last portrayal in this Visconti movie. He became a sort of washed up homosexual. Shame, because he wasn't really. He was a very talented chap, and he had a stroke. Unfortunately, the thing that he did the most when in his later years was narrate books and do things like that, and then he had a stroke, so he had dysphasia, so he couldn't speak. And of course his partner Tony Forward died of cancer, and he eventually went back to Britain. I'm talking about Dirk Bogarde. He went back to Britain and was just this sort of wheelchair case. Poor man. Who would wish anything like that on anybody? But there he is. Look, with Sean Connery. Oi, Sean Connery, mish money by me. But no, he was eventually he was just sort of sat in sort of spasticized. I'm so sorry to say that. That's a horrible way to describe people. But he was of learning difficulties, like I am, and ultimately, boom. That's how you end up dying, isn't it? Bugger and shud. But no, these pictures were painted by him, I think. And this is the chap that wrote this book, John Coldstream. It's a really good book if you're interested. And before I make this video 15 minutes long, there's also another book by John, which is another really good kind of version called Ever Dirk, the Bogarde Letters. And bang, so I won't go that much further. Grab them if you will, if you would. That you'll find them very interesting reading. And as I say, I'm sorry for my vague. I used to be quite clever, but not now. And so I'm sorry for my vague narration, but you will enjoy these books. And anyway, all the very best wishes and blessings. Cheers to you all. Blessings.